Hi, everyone. I see that there are a lot of participants being added, so I'm just going to wait a minute and then we'll get started. Hi, everyone. I see that there are a lot of participants being added, so I'm just going to wait a minute and then we'll get started. That echo was that I had the live YouTube link playing in the background and there's a little delay, so you just heard that twice.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all. I'm Brem Stoner. I'm the assistant principal at Wentworth.
So we have about, there's still a few more people joining. So I'm going to give about 2 more minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started.
That face.
In the meantime, I've just dropped the link to our Welcome to Wentworth video in the chat in case you haven't had an opportunity to view that. I highly encourage you to do so. We sent it out via the SMORE newsletter a few times, but I know how busy families are at this time of year. So I've just dropped the link right in the chat for your convenience. Copy it and have a watch. It has really great insight into our school. Okay, and it is 6:33. Looks like a few people are still joining, but why don't we just go ahead and get started officially. This is not the way that we thought we would be welcoming you to Wentworth School, but we are happy that you've joined us this evening. My name is Kelly Crosby, and I'm very proud to be the principal here, and I'm joined by our awesome assistant principal, Brem Stoner. And we're really glad to have this opportunity to meet with you and welcome you and your family to Wentworth. Some of you for the first time and some of you as returning customers who've had older children come on through our school. So the purpose of this evening is really to address the questions that you have that were brought up by the video that we sent to you in the newsletter. Additionally, we'd just like to give you a little bit of a big picture overview of our school. And we're going to do that by inviting one of our wonderful third grade teachers to talk a little bit about what does it look like a day in the life of a third grader. So I'm going to welcome Karen Walker as a panelist in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I know that this past year has been among the most challenging that anybody can remember. And we have really navigated this pandemic as a school and as a community. And every day I'm amazed by how incredible our students are. So someone in an interview today asked, what are you most proud of your school? And my answer was, I'm really proud of the joy that I see here each and every day. And it's, we have this incredible facility. We have a beautiful school. We have many resources. We're very fortunate. But all of that wouldn't really mean anything without all of the people who are in our school every day. And the kids who come through these doors bring so much joy with them. So I'm really proud of the culture and the community that we've built here at Wentworth. Our staff is incredibly dedicated, and our decisions are very student centered. So we're excited to welcome your child into this great community and to just increase the joy. It's been such a challenging year, but we are looking ahead to a much more typical looking school year next year. I think we can say with confidence that all signs are pointing to 5 days a week of in-person instruction for our students. COVID is not going to go away on July 1st or, June 19th. At this point, we will likely still have some mitigation strategies in place just to keep our school and our students and our staff safe. But we are looking forward to seeing all of our beautiful children every day next year. So, Mr. Stoner, I'm going to kick it over to you to just chime in about what we are looking forward to as I bring Ms. Walker in.
Sure. I can talk a little bit about, the very beginning of the year. Certainly the transition to 5 days is going to be a lot for everyone, given the hybrid model this year. We're very glad that the board has approved our plan for the calendar for the 2021-22 school year. So that will include an opportunity to come in small groups and tour our school. We're really hopeful for that because we know even our current third grade families may not have had a chance to see our beautiful facility. We also are planning for one-on-one appointments with teachers just to meet and greet, get to know, get to see the space, and also screening appointments to be able to really figure out every child's strengths and needs as we begin the year.
Perfect. And we're super grateful for that time and that nice transition into Wentworth School.
Yeah, and that will be a gradual transition too. We're looking at September 1st and 2nd. All of this is on the website anyway. A couple of early release days, half days, and then kind of building up to those full days in September.
And then in addition to that, we've typically been able to host a playground social, and we're looking forward to bringing that back. We were on a 1-year hiatus from Playground Social, but it's always a really popular event to receive your placement, your teacher name, and your learning community in the mail in mid-August. And then just a few days later, invite our incoming third graders to the playground. They get name tags and start to do some networking and mingling and making new friends with kids who will be in their class and in their learning community. So those are just some of the next steps for welcoming you and your child. We're also really looking forward to, is it next week or the week after? Our second grade groups are coming to Wentworth.
2 weeks.
In
Yep.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
the week of June 7th to the 11th, we'll have small groups coming for tours.
So they're coming to Wentworth and we've got a presentation for them. We're working with our current third grade student ambassadors to create a presentation and then they're going to do a tour. So we're excited to meet the kiddos live and in person. And the goal of that Step Up Day is truly to answer their questions, to give them a sense of the space because it certainly is a lot bigger than their K2 school. They're always really excited to go upstairs. Like, we've never had stairs in our school before, so that's a fun time to be able to give them that opportunity. It's the small things, and really just relieve any of those worries, and hopefully have them leave feeling excited to come here. And one really special thing that we do on that Step Up Day is we have each incoming third grader plant a sunflower in our amazing school garden, and then when they come in the fall, those sunflowers are all grown up and ready to welcome them to school. So without further ado, we've invited Mrs. Walker. She's one of our third grade teachers and also our ELA instructional coach. And she's agreed to come here and just kind of talk through what is a day in life. Oh, we just lost her. A day in the life of a third grade student. Let me see if I can bring her back in as a panelist. Gotta love technology.
I think while you're bringing her in, I can just say, One of the things we've looked forward to in the past is like a morning recess when students arrive, having some outdoor time to play in addition to their midday recess time. We're hopeful that we can bring that back in some capacity. This year during the hybrid model, we weren't able to do that, but we were able to have students come right into the building and check in with their teacher, kind of have a little time to transition into the day. There's also some silver linings, elements of the schedule that we hope to preserve from this year into next, as we also look forward to the full 5-day return.
I think that Mrs. Walker's internet must have cut out or something because she's entirely gone from our attendee
no.
list. So that's okay. We can start with any questions from our participants. So there's two ways to, actually there's three ways to submit a question. The chat is open for those of you who are joining us on our Zoom link. You can type a question into the chat and we will respond to you. You can also use the raise hand feature and it will put a little blue hand next to your name on the participant list. And we can promote you as panelist and you can turn your camera on and talk, or you can leave your camera off and talk, whatever you're most comfortable with. Or for our participants who are joining us on our YouTube live link, you can send an email to wsoffice@scarboroughschools.org. There's Mrs. Walker. wsoffice@scarboroughschools.org, and we'll read your question and we'll address it. So Mrs. Walker's back. Before we lose her again, let's turn it over to Mrs. Walker and hear about a day in the life of a third grade student at Wentworth.
It just wouldn't be the year without something happening. My laptop died without warning, just gone. I'm like, no.
Perfect.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Walker. I'm one of the lucky teachers that have been able to welcome the third graders into Wentworth School and just start their journey. It's been fabulous. The day in the life of a third grader, let's see if I can capture it. Third graders come to our school with big eyes, but they quickly settle down and make Wentworth their new home away from home. They start their day with probably one of the most exciting experiences. It's an open and shut case, their locker. Lockers are an exciting idea for third graders. It doesn't take them long to pile all their items into their lockers. If you were to walk into the hallways at this time, you'll see them laughing, sharing, and getting themselves ready for their day. So in the morning, students trickle into our classroom at various times. So it's really important for us to provide strategies that encourage our students to have some independence for knowing what they need to do to prepare for their day. One way that I do this is on my board. I have a list of items that they'll need to be ready for their school day. But then we also provide activities for the students that allow them time to practice the skills that we've taught in prior lessons. And students quickly learn how to be independent in preparing for their day. So when we begin our day, we always begin our day with the school-wide flag salute. So Mrs. Crosby or Mr. Stoner will come on to the intercom and start us all off together with a little message to help us think about ways that we can make our day better. We move right into morning meeting, and morning meeting is a time for students to get to know their classmates and to explore some student social emotional learning topics. So every morning meeting is begun with a greeting. It's really important for students to say good morning to each other and really acknowledge each other with their eyes and their words to make students feel welcomed. Also during morning meeting, we do a lot of activities that help students to feel a part of their community. Some of the activities that we do are 3 truths and a lie, or stand up if you. It really helps students to build class community and feel that they're a part of something more than just the classroom. So snack time, they just eat it up. Most students have 1 snack a day, but this year I had a student inform me that he's hungry all the time. So I did make it an exception, and we have snack time in the afternoon as well. Just helps them get through the day. Math, you can count on it to be hands-on with students using manipulatives to help show their thinking and to solve problems. In reading, it's by the book. The curriculum is a continuation of what your child experienced in second grade. The structure and the language is familiar to the students, so it helps them to really understand what's going to be coming with next in learning. Writing, we put the pencil to the paper. Students will write a narrative piece, an information piece, and an opinion piece. And at the end of each writing genre, we make sure to celebrate the students' writing success. And we have the students have worked so hard, and being able to share that work with their friends is really just a special time. Every day, students have the opportunity to go to an allied arts class. Allied arts classes are phys ed, art, music, the Learning Commons, which you might know is the library, STEM, pathways, and world language. As you can see, your child's day is filled with excitement, learning, discovery, and joy. And it's a privilege to watch your child grow and develop.
Okay, Karen, that actually just made me a little bit teary-eyed, and I love that you worked in the puns there. You can count on it in math, and we put the pen to the paper in writing. Awesome. That was just a great recap of what kids do over the course of a day here at Wentworth School. It's such an exciting time because they're really taking those foundational skills and strategies that they learned at their K-2 school, and they are just applying them and learning and growing in independence. And it's a really exciting time, and it is a privilege to watch them grow over their time here at Wentworth. So I see a few questions coming in the chat. I'm just going to start at the top here. So will parents be able to see the inside of Wentworth for a tour? Mr. Stoner, do you want to take that one about our plans for the fall?
Yes, the answer is an overwhelming yes, for sure, for our current third grade families and incoming. So details will be, sent out a little later on, but we are looking at that first week of September, late August, early September. Our staff will be here. We'll be eagerly preparing to start, and we will be offering small group tours. And that will be coupled with what most likely the appointment that you have to come and meet with your teacher. So it's sort of one-stop shopping, but also a chance really to see our beautiful facility, because we're so fortunate to have just such an awesome campus here. I know that for those of you who may be new to Wentworth, you're used to the sort of 3 smaller neighborhood schools. And so you'll notice a change when you get here for sure, but we're happy to offer that.
Thank you. So yes, we're super excited to welcome everybody back into our school. It's actually one of my favorite things to do is show off our beautiful facility. So we're excited to get back to that. The next question is, how many classes do you expect for the incoming third grade class, and what is the average size of each class? So right now, I mean, it's a little bit of a moving target, but right now we are targeting 12 homerooms for third grade. So 12 sections or 12 classrooms of third graders here at Wentworth. And our average class size, I think, will land between 17 and 19. So some of that is related to distancing requirements and other work that is being done at our building-based restart committees, and as well as through our central office leadership council. But that I feel really confident that we'll be right around 12 homerooms, and that our class sizes will be about 17 to 19 students.
All right, next question. Do all students get to take a world language class in third grade? That is very exciting if so. Yes, it is. That's part of our Pathways curriculum. So over the course of the 3 years, the Pathways curriculum includes world language, guidance, Learning Commons. As Mrs. Walker said, that's our library. For our 5th grade students, that includes the DARE program. And so yes, world language over the course of their 3 years, they'll be have sort of a new exposure, so to speak, to Spanish and French over those 2 years. And 3 years, and Mrs. Bafiades is our world language expert. She helps Mrs. Crosby and I with the morning announcements to make sure we pronounce everything correctly. And the kids really love her, and we love having her on our staff.
Yeah, we've been really working to just include Spanish and French throughout our school. So we have maybe the only trilingual garden in the state of Maine. So all of our, crops are labeled in English and Spanish and French every morning on our morning announcements. I don't, if you have older children, you're probably very tired of hearing me or Mr. Storner say, good morning, buenos dias, and bonjour, Wentworth School community. And each day we have a word of the day that is pronounced in English, Spanish, and French. So we're trying to just build that excitement for language, and Mrs. Vafiatis is just the person to do it. She's outstanding. And then let's see here. The next one is for specials like art or STEM. Is that rotated every day or left to the student? And what is the frequency per week? So the students have one allied arts class per day, each day, and they have a different one every day of the week. So they have pathways like we just mentioned. So one trimester is world language, one trimester is developmental guidance, and one trimester is learning commons. So that's one. So let's just say that happens on what day of the week does pathways happen for you, Miss Walker, in your class?
It was Mondays.
Okay, perfect. So why don't you just run us through the rest of the week for your, oh no, you know what? That's tricky because of our hybrid model.
It's,
So,
Well, yeah, it would just be like, I think, so Monday pathway, right?
Tuesday.
PE.
Mhm.
yeah. So Monday would be pathways. Tuesday was phys ed. And then let's say that Wednesday was music.
Mhm.
And then Thursday was STEM.
Mhm.
And Friday was, what did I forget? All right. Like, what did I forget?
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to show you our STEM labs. They're incredible and state of the art, and the things that our students can do will knock your socks off. They become coding experts, and they are creating code and using Code Studio to design 3D designs that they then print using our 3D printers. It's pretty remarkable, the opportunities that they have. So
One thing just to tag on to that too, we try to really arrange our schedule in a way that over the 3 years, all of our students will have both team members for each allied arts specialty area. So in 3rd grade, if they have one teacher for art, in 4th grade or 5th grade, they'll have the other teacher. So that's kind of a unique experience that they really get to know all the staff in their time here.
the next question is, are there any clubs for 3rd through 5th graders? And that is another thing that we have been so proud of here at Wentworth School, and that's something that we haven't been able to do this year, and we're excited to bring back next year. So there are a wide variety of clubs, and all signs are pointing toward, yes, we're back on for co-curriculars next year. And it's something that the kids are so look forward to. And it is everything from the Gym Dandies, which is like a local children's circus, to homework club, to marimba club, where they're playing instruments, theater team, literature club, reading team. I'm forgetting, there's a wide variety. So in about October is when we typically would roll out club signups. And so you'll be receiving our weekly family news communication, and just be on the lookout in October. And the kids will hear about it in the morning announcements too, and they're usually really excited about it. So we'll come tell you all about it.
I see some more questions coming in the chat. Just a reminder, if you're on the YouTube link, you can email them to wsoffice@scarboroughschools.org.
Do you want to take the next? The next
Yeah.
one is students.
Yep, and that's a bit of a moving target, but we're around 650 to 700 students typically. And the next is, can you give an example of how the 4 learning communities work? I listened, watched, but it wasn't quite clear. So will my 3rd grader be with all 3rd graders? For example, will all of the students from Pleasant Hill go to one learning community? Do they get to intermingle with 3rd graders from other communities? Mrs. Crosby, do you want to take that?
Sure. Yeah, this is a really common question. I apologize if it wasn't clear in the video. So our school is really arranged as a school within a school philosophy. So Wentworth is really big. And in order to make our big school feel like a more cozy community, we do have the 4 learning communities. So downstairs are the blue and green, and upstairs are red and purple. Each learning community has 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classrooms. So there are 9 to 12 classrooms on each learning community, and there's third, fourth, and fifth grades. So when we're creating our third grade classes, we are taking 1/3 of the class from Pleasant Hill, 1/3 of the class from Eight Corners, and 1/3 of the class from Blue Point. And it's truly, where they come together as one third grade class. So on each learning community, there will be 3 third grade classrooms. And they have lunch and recess together with their entire learning community. And then I think so they stay on the learning community. So if your child is a third grade green learning community student, they're going to be a green learning community student for fourth grade. And then in fifth grade, we open up placement by floor just to kind of do a little bit more merging of students who they may not have gotten to know over their first 2 years before they move to the middle school. And the entire sixth grade is together as one group. I think the second part of the question is, will they get a chance to intermingle with third graders from other communities? So over the years, we've really tried to incorporate more full grade level activities. So for example, when we have a field day, instead of it being like the Green Learning Community Field Day, we'll have like the third grade learning community field day, so that there are some opportunities built in throughout the year for like big events. I'm really excited and hopeful that we'll start being able to get back to some of our whole school activities that we've done in the past. For example, STEAM night and literacy night and assemblies and all of those things that just bring us together as one group. And those are all opportunities to see friends in other learning communities. And then additionally, what Mr. Stoner mentioned at the beginning of this question, that they're at the morning recess, that is when a lot of kids would see each other from other learning communities, because it's at arrival and it's really cute, and they have like a little reunion, and then, oh, what do you have today? I have art, I have STEM. Okay, bye, see you later. And then clubs is another opportunity that we really encourage kiddos. Like, oh, if your best buddy from kindergarten is not in your learning community, then sign up for a club together, and you can stay after school and be together. So those are some of the ways that we try to work through that.
Great. A couple other questions here. Can you go to the library when it's not in your schedule? And the answer to that is yes. The Learning Commons team is fabulous. They know that they may not have classes as part of Pathways until the second or third trimester. So Mrs. Lenahan is our K-5 librarian, and she works with the classroom teachers to make sure they can get in there with their students for a weekly checkout and keep the circulation of resources going. And it's not just books. I mean, there's audio books, so many digital resources, as well as some of the more classic resources that some of us may remember from our elementary school days.
The only thing that I would add to that is that we have also worked over the past 5-6 years really diligently to build our classroom libraries. So our classrooms have a really robust library, and a lot of that credit goes to Mrs. Walker. She's really led the charge in that work and ensuring that we have a great variety of high interest books in many genres at many levels. So our classroom libraries are much more robust than they've ever been in the past. And then teachers often, even if their class isn't signed up for official Learning Commons classes, will sign up for just 15-minute, and they call it book business. So 15 minutes, so maybe it's on Thursdays, you've got book business. The whole class goes down there, does their check-in, check-out. The Learning Commons staff has done an incredible job this year with online checkout through Destiny Discover. Mrs. Walker, do you want to talk a little bit about how that has worked for your class?
Sure. It's been, the students, they're so resilient. And so Mrs. Rosie Lenhout, she came in and she just taught them exactly how to go online, go to Destiny, choose and select a book. And then they're delivered outside our door in a basket. And so the student's name is in there. They have their books. They're so excited because they're like, mail. I mean, they're like, oh my gosh, we got mail. And, you pull out their books and they're very excited to have them. And then they just, at the end of when they're done with the book, there's a bucket at the end of our learning community. And that's where they were putting them so that it's that touch-free. and they would sit there. So it's been very exciting.
The next question is, what is the thought behind masks for the upcoming year? Will they still be required? And I wish I had a crystal ball on this one and could clearly predict what September will hold for us. The fact of the matter is, I just don't know what the guidelines will be. By that point, we'll continue to follow the guidelines. Right now, the students are still masking throughout the day within the building. They have scheduled mask breaks, and they have kind of ad hoc mask breaks as well as needed. So like, I just need a mask break. Like, are so great at like stepping out of the hall or to the back of the room, and just taking a minute. If classes are learning outdoors, masks are not required at this time. So we're building towards that, and we are as eager as you are to see our kiddos' entire faces. You know, I love lunch duty because it's one time that I get to like, okay, all right, that's what you look like under there, especially for like our current third graders who I haven't known unmasked. So I wish I had a crystal ball to answer that question, you know, precisely, but we will continue communicating, and we'll just continue to do our best to, no matter what the circumstance, we're going to support our kids to feel happy and healthy and stress-free here at school.
The next is, can all 12 homerooms fit within the school building, or do we need temporary external structures? So we are very fortunate, and you'll see when you come for a tour, to have a beautiful facility. From a bird's eye view, it's kind of like a big letter H, at least where the classrooms are. And so we have, like Mrs. Crosby said, we have our 4 learning communities. But if you're picturing the letter H, there are plenty of classrooms. So we will not need external structures. And they're beautiful rooms. They really are, you know, tailored to you know, fit all of our curriculum needs. They recently had some really great additions as far as technology goes, you know, in order to adapt to the hybrid year. We have new audio systems in place as well to really just enhance the learning overall. So we're really happy with our facility, and we hope you'll be excited about it too.
Okay, so are there 3rd and 4th grade looping classes? So we've kind of put a pause on looping for the past few years for a variety of reasons, one of which being COVID. And our population has kind of fluctuated over the course of the few years. And in addition to that, it's a wonderful resource. We've had a multitude of new curriculum resources and materials, which is great. But it takes a little bit of time for staff to really learn new resources and new curriculum materials. And so for looping teachers, it was taking twice as long, because you learn the 3rd grade, and then you have to change to the 4th grade, and then back to the 3rd grade. So we put a pause on looping for the most part, as like a general practice. And so for right now, we're thinking of our classes as like straight graded classrooms. The consistency piece, though, is that our students do stay within that learning community. So they're going to stay in the same learning community for 3rd and 4th grade. And the teachers really get to know the kids so well. I think it will feel very similar to your small neighborhood schools. You know, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers all really get to know the students in their learning community. And then there's a lot of support staff connected to each learning community. Each learning community has a learning community ed tech. That person is the lead for lunch and recess every day. So that person really gets to know the kids so well in the different settings. And then if there's coverage that's needed throughout the day, that learning community ed tech is popping into classrooms to cover, already knowing the kids. So it's really seamless. So there aren't any formalized looping classrooms at this time, but we still really work hard to maintain that consistency of relationship for students. Thank you for the nice compliments in the chat. We appreciate that.
Let's see. I think the next one coming in is, will there be any full virtual classrooms offered in the fall, or will all classes be in person? I think that's a bit of a a moving target. Mrs. Crosby, how do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, what we've heard recently is that the plan is for all students to be on site in the fall. That was just like an announcement that we heard recently, but we haven't, as a leadership council, had an opportunity to really kind of talk that through and what the implications would be. So I think that the vast majority of our students and families are ready and able to come and be on site and participate, in a fully face-to-face in-person environment. I understand that there are likely exceptions to that feeling, and we're certainly being mindful of that. We have 5 fully remote classrooms right now, 2 in 3rd grade, 1 in 4th grade, and 2 in 5th grade. And they've done a fantastic job. And they're just starting to kind of transition back to school, starting with some on-site recess, a little bit of on-site academic pieces. So yeah, there's not a really super crystal clear answer about if there will be a full virtual option in the fall in Scarborough Public Schools, but I know that there are some families who are thinking about that. Sorry, I can't be more specific. Okay, what are the plans for aftercare at Wentworth? So go ahead, Mr. Stoner.
All right. So let's see, the before and after care community services program, they have been doing their own sort of hybrid model this year. They have, we do continue to have before care and after care on site. And so Audra Keenan is the community services liaison and director. So definitely get in touch with her if you have specific questions. But we do have that on site. Community services has also operated an off-site location to support the hybrid learning model and families on their non-cohort days this year. Not quite sure what the future of that particular situation will be, but we will have before care and after care at Wentworth for the fall. That is a continued plan.
And so convenient right here on site, like it's great. And community services truly are partners with us. They are connecting with our office every afternoon. They're connecting with school leaders and just really some nice wraparound support for our students' days. So the next question is, how are students graded at Wentworth? Do they transition to letter grades on report cards? And then there's a follow-up to that as well. So your good news, one thing that you won't have to adjust to very much is the report card, because it looks really similar to the K2. We actually have a K5 report card that is just updated for the different content areas and developmental appropriateness. So you will still be seeing the familiar, beginning, developing, competent, and strong on end of trimester progress reports. And that's the language that we're using with students with all of their learning and their learning targets. So and then the second part of that is about homework. Will 3rd graders be receiving homework? So Mrs. Walker, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I personally, I expect students to read every night. I really think that reading is an important piece. And so that's the one thing that is consistent every night, is to read for 30 minutes. And then I may send things home for practice, but it's really something that they know and learn, and I just want them to have a little more experience. And I think teachers, all 3rd grade teachers have a little bit of a different, we all do the reading, and there's different experiences as far as how much they'll send home.
Yeah, and so homework is just to reinforce skills, and for practice, there's a wide body of very varied research on the effectiveness of homework at the elementary age level. I think it certainly serves a purpose to develop work habits and those pieces, but our 3rd graders are 8 years old also. Oh, I just lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh, the general kind of guidepost is, and this is from like national standards, is like 10 minutes times your grade level. So for third grade, it'll be 3 times 10 minutes, so no more than 30 minutes per night. And I don't know many third grade teachers who, outside of reading, assign nightly homework for our students. So tell your daughter, don't be nervous. We're going to work with her and meet her right where she is. She just did second grade through a pandemic. She can do anything. Mr. Stoner, do you want to do the next one?
So I think the next one is my son occasionally met with a Gates teacher in K and first. COVID stopped that. So when would he be tested again? I'm going to need a little help on when we actually test for Gates, but I do know that our wonderful, fabulous Gates teacher, Miss Ledoux, does work with students who are identified in a gifted and talented program, but has also really done some great collaborating with all of our teachers. We have a RISE block in our schedule that we're planning to bring back for the fall, and she's done some really great, what we call Rise to the Challenge enrichment, which does meet kind of the purpose of that block to some degree.
Yeah, and so screening is actually underway right now. So the iReady scores that students have participated in for their spring screener are kind of one data point. There are a few data points that Ms. Ledoux looks at, and then students who kind of meet a certain screening criteria are invited are administered some, yes, some additional testing, which is the COGAT, and so a level 2 grade up COGAT. And so there's an entire process, but I know that screening portion is underway now.
I think we've covered all the questions so far. If you're on the live YouTube link, you can send them to wsoffice@scarboroughschools.org. And I've got the inbox open in case any come through.
Is there anyone who wants to be promoted to a panelist to ask a question live or a follow-up? You can just raise the little blue hand next to your name. Your questions have been really great. Thank you. All right.
We're using really good teacher wait time right now.
I think that we've just done such a great job covering all of this information. You guys asked some great questions. So I saw a thank you in here, and we look forward to seeing you in person too, and then knowing who the assigned teacher is. So that, particularly this year, we really want to focus on wrapping up that second grade year and celebrating their success and accomplishments in K2. So we will not be sending home teacher placement on the last day of school. That's a practice that we've gotten away from in the last few years. But we do send the placement in about mid-August, and we time that with the K2 teachers and the middle school. It's like this bulk placement mailing day. And it's exciting, and kids are running to their mailboxes. And then we will time that with a playground social very close to that, so that there's not a lot of trepidation of like, I don't know anybody in my class, because I promise they know people in their class. We work really closely with the second grade teachers. They recommend little triads or dyads or groups of kiddos to be placed together from the class so that they'll have familiar faces. Then in addition to those familiar faces from their classroom, there will be other kiddos from their school. And then the really fun thing is that these little reunions happen of like, oh, I remember you from first grade soccer. You were on my team, and, you know, from baseball practice and from art camp, and all of these connections that they had previously. So it's great to see those new friendships formed and old ones rekindled and previous ones maintained. It's a magical time for them to come to Wentworth. So that was a long answer for mid-August. One more, sorry. Will the children rotate between teachers or stay with one teacher all day? Oh, so they're generally with their homeroom teacher, but they do go each day to their allied arts teacher, their allied arts teachers. So PE, art, gym, et cetera, et cetera. They have really highly specialized spaces that are gorgeous and wonderful and equipped for a lot of learning and exploration. So the kiddos change to that class. And then there are some team teaching situations on each learning community. So for example, Mrs. Walker for her class taught the reading and writing, and then she had a partner teacher who addressed the like math and sciences pieces. So sometimes that will happen, or yeah, I would say more regularly than not, there's like a team teaching situation. So there's some shared personalities and expertise.
And just sort of behind the scenes of all that, this year we've been really fortunate to have a lot of collaborative planning time for grade levels. Learning communities have weekly opportunities to meet and plan, and so all of the obviously all of that contributes to what they're able to team teach on.
Well, you have been a wonderful virtual audience. It's been really fun to have this little Q&A session. Your questions were terrific. We cannot wait to meet you in person, and we really can't wait to meet your children. So in a short couple of weeks, they'll be coming over for their tour. Be sure to ask them about it. And I hope that they come home and are really excited for this next phase in their education coming on up to Wentworth. So thank you, everybody.